Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Demon Slayer. Sorry, there's something in my throat. Normally I would start over, but I can't be bothered. So, last time on Demon Slayer, we had the smell of enchanting blood, where basically, while Tanjiro was trying to deal with a newly created demon that Muzan Kibutsuji had created, he met two nice demons, actually, Miss Tamayo and Yushiro, and basically they were like, yo, we want to help you defeat Kibutsuji. And they learned that Tamayo is the only other demon, at least as far as we know, who has been able to create another demon, and it took her 200 years to figure it out. But she's going to help try to take down Kibutsuji and cure Nezuko. And in order to do that, they need to study Nezuko's demon blood, as well as the blood of demons that are closely related to Kibutsuji. Which, at the same time, two demons who, I guess the jury's out if they're really closely related, but I'm going to imagine they are. But two demons who are relatively close to Kibutsuji showed up. One of them has eyeballs in his hands, and the other one throws balls. So, yeah. Anyway, they attacked, and now we fight. Ugh. I just thought of that if I had eyeballs in my hands and I just smacked both of my eyes together. Ugh. Oh, I hate that. Anyway. But yeah, that was pretty much where we left. So, like always, the reaction is down in the description and the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of Demon Slayer. Here we go. Okay, you know what? A little bit better than the plan that I came up with, I must say. Because that is actually really cool. I like that. Now, whether or not it fully succeeded, I mean, I guess maybe that's left open for the next episode. Because that's the thing, is we're trying to get as many blood samples as we can, and it looked like he just killed the guy, but I don't know. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see what happened to him. But his head did get cut off, so yeah. Oh well. We still have the other one, at least. But yeah. Okay, so interesting stuff. Man, I really did think, though, that it's like, oh, well, because we're seeing, what it was. It's like, oh, here, we'll show him doing the whirlpool, and then the flowing water, and then after that, it's like, well, by law of storytelling, it's not going to work then. If you show us or tell us what's going to happen, it generally doesn't work like that. And then it did. I guess because it wasn't exactly, those two moves again, it was a combination of those two moves, which I really enjoy. I really like that. I'm glad that, because yeah, it's like at least 10 forms that we have of water breathing. I don't know if we're going to get any more, Like maybe Urokodaki's teaching was just the beginning or something. Or, honestly, I would be really interested to see if, like, Tanjiro makes more. Like, that would be really cool. Honestly, I think I've been kind of sleeping on this whole water breathing, or these water techniques, Because they are really, really interesting, I really enjoy that. And honestly, yeah, just because I think part of the reason I really like it too is the fact that it's a sword, Because even with the whole thing of the flowing water and everything, that's really just like a visual thing, It's just a little nice visualization to go with it. The fact is, he's just using his sword, Now, he's using his sword in a, almost superhuman way that, well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe someone could do it. I don't know. I don't want to discredit anyone who can do that, but I don't know. I'm going to say the average human cannot pull that off, but Tanjiro is not the average human anymore. No Demon Slayer is, But yeah, it's just sort of an interesting thing, and I do like that it's just his sword, It's not actually that he's summoning water. It's the water is flowing off of, visually it's flowing off of the blade there, but it's the blade that's still doing all the work, Like, if this wasn't an anime, he would just be running around. All you would see is the sword, you know? So I like that. I really do enjoy that. And yeah, the fact, I never thought about that. The fact that you could probably combine moves, you know? So he used, the whirlpool technique with the footwork of the flowing water, which was pretty cool. So that was really good. And it worked. It worked. It was managed to overpower the arrows, which was pretty good. So yeah, really, really interesting stuff. The 12 Kizuki. The 12 Kizuki, which that leaves like a good measure of what we're going to be doing this season, or maybe even past this season. I don't know how long this whole Kibutsuji plotline is going on, but like I'm thinking in terms of just this season, and in terms of just this season, we have the 12 Kizuki, 2 of which we're already dealing with, so that'll leave 10 more, and then Kibutsuji himself, So, my mind, thinking about, story structure and everything, I'm thinking either this season is going to be all 12 Kizuki and Kibutsuji, or we're just going to keep going. Like, maybe the whole show is going through the 12 Kizuki, So, that's already really interesting. And I like their powers, too. It's really interesting, Because again, it's like, it's the demon blood art, the demon blood magic that, seems to be anything, and for Tameo, it's, the illusions and everything, which would have hit Tanjiro and broken his concentration, I guess. But, for these two, one of them uses a Temari, which I apologize, I don't really know, much about. I feel like this show could be like sort of a good, I feel like maybe even a better introduction to sort of more, I not ancient, but maybe like classical Japanese culture, because of the time period, which is again, just an interesting time period of like, this is before the sort of modern Japan. You still get some of that, especially here in Tokyo, you get some of that, but there's also still a lot of traditional Japanese stuff in here as well, and I really do enjoy that. I almost feel like this is. I feel like this for Japan is kind of like what Captain America is to us. Like especially that first Captain America movie. I'll go ahead and say the first Captain America movie is my favorite movie ever. I friggin' love that movie. And I do say that, though, knowing there are probably better movies out there, like objectively better movies. For instance, The Winter Soldier is probably a better movie, but I just enjoy the first one more. But yeah, so that first one, I feel like that is something that like a lot of Americans, can get into. It's like, oh, it's this underdog kid, he gets strong and then he goes and he fights the Nazis, and we all know that we don't like Nazis. We should know that anyway, but that's getting off topic. But yeah, whereas this, I kind of feel like, and I don't know how, I don't know how big relatively Demon Slayer is in Japan. I hear it's pretty big, but I don't really know. But I feel like this could sort of be that, Now, this is set further back than Captain America by a couple decades, but I feel like this is kind of that where it's like, okay, it's this sort of classic era story with some modernization, some, classical traditional stuff, and just a very interesting premise, and similar to, we gotta go fight the Nazis, we gotta go fight Hydra, we have to fight demons. Yeah, well, for the most part, those demons are pretty bad. With some exceptions, though, because in Captain America, you have the German scientist who, creates the super soldier serum and gives it to Steve Rogers, and here we have, Tameo and Yushiro, who are, good demons. They're good people, but they are also demons. So yeah, a lot of parallels. Basically, there are parallels to my favorite movie. That's a good standing for an anime, I must say. So yeah, I'd be very curious about the I guess just the feeling of like what do I don't know, what is, like, the critical response to this in Japan, you know? Because that could be really interesting. But yeah. But here's another thing. Temari, I guess I could just look it up while I'm here. Because I'm sitting here like, oh, well, you guys will tell me in the comments, you know? I guess I don't need to wait, like, 2 or 3 weeks for you guys to comment about this, from time of recording. Why don't I just look it up? Why don't I just look it up like a grown man and not just rely on you guys? But you can leave down in the comments about, I guess, sort of the critical response, if you know anything about the response to Demon Slayer. Because I do hear it is pretty big in Japan, so... Hold on, wait, I did spell it right, didn't I? Because this has just brought up a Naruto character. Oh, wait, here we go. So if you just type in Temari to Google, the first thing you get is a Naruto character, and then the second thing you get is the toy on Wikipedia. Which it has to specify toy. Temari balls are a folk art form and Japanese craft originating in China and introduced to Japan around the 7th century AD. Temari means handball in Japanese. Balls made from embroidery may be used in handball games and other such games, e.g. hacky sack, an accessory similar in appearance and constructed with similar techniques and materials, but with the addition of a hand strap made with either satin, cord, or ribbon, and a tassel can serve as an accessory for a kimono as a kimono bag. Huh. There's not much else on this page. There's a little bit of history and stuff like that, but yeah. What an interesting thing. And she's using it to kill people. Fascinating. Yeah, so that's just a really interesting idea for a weapon. Now, and the one thing it didn't mention in that brief little paragraph I saw, but also the fact that every time they hit something, there was a ring, too. Oh, God. Excuse me. I shouldn't be doing that on camera, but that's alright. Maybe I'll cut it out. Anyway, but, yeah, so every time it hit or it came back to her, there was a ring too, which is just interesting. Again, just a little bit more of oh, here's something, this traditional, I guess, or this sort of older classical Japanese, thing that I now have knowledge of. So if anything, I'm really appreciating Demon Slayer for that. The other thing I don't know. I'm going to look this up. Maybe I can. So I literally just looked up the episode on the wiki, and I'm not looking at any, there's no spoilers or anything on here. It's just sort of going through the plot synopsis of this episode, and there's nothing spoilery, so I'm being careful, don't you worry. But yeah, so a paper talisman, that's what I was trying to look for. So yeah, a paper talisman, which is interesting. Yeah, that's basically what I was I couldn't think of what it was called. But I like that, that's another interesting thing that it's, it's something, it kind of reminds me a bit of stands in JoJo, where it's only stand users can see a stand, for the most part. And here it's sort of similar, where it's the Temari are just Temari that are, that she's just throwing like crazy, but the actual thing moving those Temari through and making them so deadly are the arrows, and the arrows, being demon demon blood magic, can't be seen by a human, by a demon slayer, so that was interesting. So Yushiro quickly makes this paper talisman and gives it to Tanjiro so he can see those arrows. That's really cool. I like that. Actually, it makes me think I kind of wish that would happen in JoJo sometime. Boy, Hayato could have used that at the end of part 4, but that's beside the point. Anyway. So yeah, so that was really interesting. And of course, Yushiro also lost his head in this, but it was one of those things where, when it happened, I was like, there's no way he's dead, right? You can't just kill him like that. And sure enough, because, it was, I guess, I don't know the rules of it, but it's it was decapitation, but at the same time, I bet because it was just from, the just a Temari ball and not a Demon Slayer sword that allowed him to grow back, or I don't know, or maybe it just barely missed the nape of his neck. I don't know. Maybe it's like Titans or something. I don't know. So yeah, so that was interesting, and luckily he did come back, and I do love when he comes back, and he's like, I told you so. We shouldn't have gotten involved in this, and now he's taken away my alone time, and it's like, oh, this guy. But yeah, and I also like how I dropped my pen. I like how his cloaking that he does for the house and everything. I like how he uses that in combat, which was clever. So yeah, Nezuko lost a leg, unfortunately. Poor girl. But yeah, luckily Tamayo has a remedy to help her leg heal faster. Because yeah, with that leg gone, it's like, oh, she's going to be asleep for like a week trying to grow that leg back, Which honestly, I feel like that's kind of the most damage she's taken since becoming a demon, So, yeah, she lost her leg. It's just a scratch. It's honestly, there was a lot of that going around, like between Nezuko's leg, Yushiro's head, and the Temari demon's arms. Like there was a lot of the Black Knight going around, which was kind of funny. But yeah. And then again, yeah, we had all the different water forms, and again, the combining a lot of the water forms, which was really cool. So yeah, really, really good stuff this episode, and I'm very curious to see where we are going next time. And honestly, I feel like this, like, I kind of feel like I'm finally, like, in there now, Like, I've kind of thought about it. It's like, I don't know, something about the previous episodes, and they're not bad by any means. I've thoroughly enjoyed them, but I feel like now I'm kind of like in, like, all right, I really want to see what happens next. And I don't know, maybe it's just because of, how I started this series. I got 2 episodes in and had to take a break for COVID and everything, but now I feel like I'm really in there. This episode has finally been like, all right, let's go, So, and that's good because, next I'm doing other stuff that, well, let's not get into that. The point is, I really like Demon Slayer, and I'm going to enjoy more of it next time. But that is basically it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist for all of my Demon Slayer reactions, that's what we're watching. As well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.